Welcome to the Power Factor Show. Episode 141. Sponsored by Rainier Ballistics, Hodgdon Powders, and JPL Precision.
Between SSP and ESP. I mean, it seems to me you could have picked something other than that as the defining difference between the two divisions.
Would you pick would you pick the trigger pull weight?
I would have said you have to have double strike capability in SSP. If you can't go click, it's not, you can't shoot it in an SSP. And that gets rid of the 2-pound single action trigger.
And I think the reasoning there was stock service pistol is a division where people shoot police type service weapons.
Right. Most of which are 40s.
Which is predominantly the Glock.
Anyway. Yeah.
And anymore it's not double action SIGs.
Exactly.
There's a few departments that still have the double action guns, and
sure.
some stainless steel 3rd generation Smiths that haven't got too much rust yet.
Right. Well, if they're stainless,
they got to be.
Yeah.
They're not in the coast or the Northwest.
Right.
Yeah, they're definitely could have gone either way, but
yeah.
You'd had 3 microscopic divisions then.
Yeah, and then one huge one.
Everyone would be. ESP would be 75% of the match.
Yeah.
And CDP would have been 20%.
Right.
And then 5% for the last 3 divisions. We already have that with the revolver divisions.
Right. I mean, I agree with you that you don't need to take what is already the least well-attended group and give them 2 separate divisions. But I remember when I started shooting, I mean, even 10 years ago, CDP and SSP were pretty much equal in terms of numbers of shooters. And I don't know if it's the ammo costs that have driven it, but now CDP is small, very small. We hardly have anybody shooting CDP locally.
Yeah, I think it's probably ammo cost. I mean, if these guys are buying factory ammo at 48 cents a round, I mean, that hits your wallet pretty hard for a 130 round match. It's just $65 in ammo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's funny when I see these guys talking about, I think I'm going to get a 22. So I can do cheap practice. Well, factory 22 rimfire costs more than my 45 auto reloads.
Right.
So I'm not getting any cheap practice with a 22.
And then good luck finding it too still.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't seen a box of 22 on a shelf anywhere except for Winchester Magnum rimfire.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, and how much do you think that's affected the sport? I mean, do you think people are staying home, not shooting as many matches? I mean, are you seeing, are the major, I would assume major matches aren't being affected by that. But we've actually had this deal going on locally that I don't even know how it happened, where they're actually promoting our matches by saying we're not going to shoot very many rounds. Like that's going to draw people in. We used to average, it'd be like 7 stages, 90 rounds. And now it's, hey, we're only going to have 6 stages. It's only going to be about 70 or 80 rounds.
So it's going to cost you less.
It's going to cost you less. I'm like going, but you're getting less. I don't see that as an attraction, but maybe so. I don't know.
No, around here we still think more is better. We like our IDPA matches 100. Well, our monthly matches typically run 100 to 140.
For how many stages?
What's that?
How many stages?
Oh, probably 8, 9, 10
okay.
stages.
8 or 9. Okay.
We'll do 6 stages and shoot 90 rounds or 80 some odd rounds. I don't know.
Yeah.
In my limited experience so far. So.
Yeah, I mean, we try to, I think, and it depends, of course, a stage could be 18 rounds and a stage could be 8 rounds. I mean, that's one of the other things I think I see. I remember then they had the, I don't know if it was a USPSA Nationals or State Championship match at that U.S. Shooting Academy in Oklahoma City. And it was like 10, 18 round stages. And they all, it's all like a house clearing exercise. There's 9 guys out there, and you just go find them and shoot them from cover, kind of a thing, And I just thought, okay, I guess you get your round count up that way. People, you're going to get your money's worth in terms of how much shooting you get to do. But I sure didn't think that was a very realistic defensive kind of a match with these. It was more like Benghazi consulate attack kind of a thing, and it was just very strange.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if people want to shoot a lot, that's what you have to do.
We call those IPSC light matches.
Yeah, exactly.
We all know what they are. They know what they're shooting for. We know what they're shooting for. whatever. It's not very much true to IDPA.
Right.
But
So what do you guys do? Your typical matches at your club when you've got 9 stages. So it's like 9, 10 round to 12, 14 round stages.
yeah, we'll have some 3 and 2 round strings, but we'll probably have 3 or 4 of them on a stage.
Right.
And maybe it'll be a little scenario, but maybe you shoot it twice, or maybe you shoot it over here and then you come over and shoot it on another set of targets or something like that.
Okay.
We try and keep, at least 6 to 8 rounds in any stage, even if we gotta, break it into multiple strings. And then, a lot of 8 to 14 round stages and a couple 16s and maybe an 18.
Now, do you guys have any especially cool props or anything that you have a helicopter parked on the range or something that you shoot out of? Is there anything interesting you guys do or can do with your facility?
Well, we have one bay where we can shoot in 360 degrees.
That's
Okay, cool.
Which is way awesome, and we're shooting a stage at the state match that we've actually shot a couple times. We're going to post it ahead of time, so we're gonna do like you did. We're going to post the entire match booklet online a couple weeks before the match, so everyone can read it and feel like they're not getting anything snuck in on them. So
Right.
but the thing, we shoot this stage. It's your typical dog stage, and we allow the shooter to turn 360 degrees, any target order.
Right.
And you just have to make sure the safety officer knows your target order before you begin shooting.
Oh,
'Cause
you've got to declare
He's
in
going to walk
advance.
a little circle around behind you,
Sure.
Right.
stay behind you, and it's really, really fun to turn all the way around and just keep turning, just keep shooting targets.
Yeah.
So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, one of our clubs has that up at Custer. You can do that.
Yeah. Well,
one
when
of
we
their
shot down in Centralia, the Firearms Academy of Seattle is also an IDPA club, and they've got a 360 bay, and they put the shooter in a harness so that the safety officer is holding onto a rope that's attached to the shooter. And so the shooter, there's no way the shooter can rotate around and get their gun pointed at the SO.
Yeah.
But then it also, of course, restricts the shooter's movement to a certain extent. He can't
yeah.
just go running away because the SO's got a grip on him.
Wow.
But it's still fun.
Yeah, you just tell the safety officer, look, I'm going to start here and I'm going to shoot in this order.
Right.
The safety officer just walks behind the shooter. It's
As long as they remember
Yeah.
which
Yeah,
order they're going to shoot.
Right,
It's like
right, yeah.
it's like
and you stay close enough to the shooter that it's not like he's going to turn and
point
muzzle
the
you.
gun at you. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking it's kind of reminiscent at the start of the stage where it's turn then draw, and you say which way are you going to turn. So you position yourself slightly to one side, and then he rotates right into you after telling you he's going to go the other way.
Right.
Yeah, well,
So-
that's a funny thing you bring up. Which way are you going to turn? Well, guess what? I don't care which way you turn. Your job is to turn and then draw.
Right.
I don't even want to know. I don't even think it matters.
Right.
Right.
I agree.
I don't even ask the shooter. As I just say. I mean, if I know it's a more experienced shooter, I'll probably keep my mouth shut. But if I don't know who the guy is, I'm going to say, now remember, turn, then draw.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't care which way he turns. I'm not going to be in his hip pocket either way.
Yeah.
have
I'm also, our concern is also for the gallery. I mean, I've seen enough guys get the gun out early that if he's rotating this way and the gallery is standing right there, he gets the gun out early, he sweeps the crowd. And so if the guy says, I'm going to turn this way, I'll just ask everybody to get back to their side so that if he does get the gun out early, there's nobody standing there in front of him.
I've never seen anyone pull the gun early, but I always warn everyone I don't know. Then draw.
I've seen,
Right.
I've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
plenty of early.
I've never seen that be an issue.
clearing.
Every DQ, every muzzle 180 violation has always been moving or reloading.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Now, I was surprised that my buddy from Canada, Bob, who you met on the tent stage and the briefcase stage, he shoots some IPSC up there, and he said the largest proportion of DQs are for moving with the finger on the trigger.
yeah,
And I've never seen anybody disqualified for that
Right.
before in 500 USPSA and IDPA matches. Have you ever seen that? You disqualified somebody for either repeated or egregious finger on the trigger violations?
I've given someone a final warning.
Okay.
I've told someone that's your second finger call the next time you're done shooting.
Right.
And when I look them square in the eyes and tell them that,
Yeah, they take
it
it
finally
seriously.
sinks in.
Right, right, right. Oh, that makes
So
sense.
I actually kind of like the new rule. You get one cover procedural and your second. You get one finger procedural
Right.
in the rule book, and your
Right.
second finger violation is a DQ. I think
Yeah.
that's a good rule.
Yeah,
That's more than fair. I mean, USPSA is finger in the trigger, you're done.
Yeah.
If you can see it and call it and and be confident that's what you saw.
We had a couple of issues at the state match where people said, hey, there's a squad coming to Bay 1 from stage 13, and there was a guy that we warned him twice on the finger violation, and so we just wanted to pass that info along so when he shows up to keep an eye out. And I just thought, well, this is a guy that's been shooting with us for years, and nobody's ever brought it to my attention before.
And now he's got 2 already?
And now he's got 2 already on one stage. So I'm thinking, okay, and I said to the guys, if you see it, you have no reason to warn him. He's been warned twice already. But I just thought, I find it hard to believe that he's that loose with his finger position, and yet prior to today, it's never been brought to my attention before. So it turned into nothing. But I did, there's stuff like that where, you've got the static safety officers that are working the same stage all day, and they see a guy once, and then if he's a little bit squirrely, the next bay they only see him once there. He could be squirrely all day, and you'd never be aware of it.
You could do it once a stage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
By the time you need a punch card. You're not allowed to shoot my stage without a punch card.
Yeah. Now, is there something in the new rule book about that though? Somebody you're supposed to scroll something on the score sheet or something?
Well, I think they're going to have to. I think if you're going to have a piece of scoring software like Practice Score or something, you're going to have to. If you're going to comply with the rule book, you have to have some way to note that,
right? So
that you can follow the rules. Otherwise, there's no way to follow. Like you said, there's no way to follow the rule unless the safety officer is following the shooters around, which you only do at local matches.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Now, I think it's interesting. Part of the new rule book. I was looking. Somebody sent me an email asking me how is IDPA going to staff these tiered matches if the staff is required to have served at tiered matches. Since we haven't had any tiered matches yet, if you'd have to be, you have to have officiated, say, at 2 tier 2 matches to qualify. There haven't been any tier 2 matches. How are you going to qualify for matches shot in the last few months of 2013 and the first few months of 2014 if you've never shot a tiered match?
They'll have to grandfather
There's got to be
a
grace period or
all
something,
previous sanctioned matches as tier 5 matches or something. They'll have to do something like that.
Because I was looking, some guy asked me, he said, how are our guys that are trying to get points or whatever for nationals, how is that going to play out if it's not a tiered match? And I said, similar to what you said, I thought they're going to have to retroactively apply some kind of credit to it. And so then I started looking at the tier system, and I realized, I'm looking at it, and I thought our match already qualified as a tier 2. I mean, we essentially had all the requirements for a tier 2. And I think the only thing that we didn't have for a tier 3 was I hadn't offered to let the AC shoot for free. So I sent him a text message, and I thought, okay, now we qualify as a tier 3. But then you start getting into stuff, I think, like, I don't know if it was the tier 4 or the tier 5, where you essentially have to have a safety officer assigned to the squad who rotates with the squad. It's like he's not really he's not officiating and he's not shooting. He's just kind of like this squad monitor that rotates with the squads. And I thought at a big match, that's an awful lot of additional safety officers you have to have.
A lot of personnel. Yeah. That's hard to get that much personnel.
I think the whole best thing of this new rule book is the forward-looking idea that Joyce has always said that, look, we're not just going to do this once, but we're going to revisit this year after year after year, and we're going to have a smaller team clean up the burrs and things like that. And that very may well be one of them. People that are running a tier 3 match don't have 75 safety officers to staff a match for 175 shooters.
Right. Because, I mean, the first year that we had the championship in 2002, I had 6 safety officers. And we had, 70 shooters. Well, this year I had over 40 safety officers, and I wished I'd had 2 or 3 more. Because there were a couple of stages where I thought, if we had one more guy here who could set that steel each time, it would go that much faster. Yeah. And we're starting to run up against, it ran pretty smoothly, and I think we could probably add one more shooter per squad and still stick to the schedule. But that's the only direction we can go. Unless we start making smaller stages with fewer rounds, the time seems to be the finite element. We just have, there's only so many hours of daylight, and if we're going to grow the match up to 200 shooters, the stages are going to have to get smaller, or something's going to have to change.
Yeah, and it ran very smoothly. So whatever you did to keep it on schedule, keep that up.
Well, nice. I noticed we had 10 squads shooting at all times, and Saturday we ran 20 minutes late after having started an hour late. So we were able to pick up 40 minutes in 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then we started on time Sunday morning, and we were just spot on the schedule all day. I mean, the last shot was fired within 5 minutes of when the schedule said it was going to be. The scores were posted within 5 minutes when they said they were going to be. So I think there was a little bit of a learning curve while the staff on each stage kind of got on a roll, how they were going to score and reset and stuff. But then once they did, we were clearing the stages. Even though there was 45 minutes on the schedule per stage, we were clearing them in about 30 to 35 minutes. So we could probably add another shooter, at least, maybe 2, and still stick to the schedule. So.
Yep. So Larry, what was your favorite stage?
Oh man.
Did you where you didn't jam?
Yeah. No joke.
I saw your clock jam twice. I saw you shoot like 3 stages.
That was the only 2 times it ever jammed in my life.
A Glock jam?
A Glock jam.
At my match in the state of Washington, there was a Glock jam?
And there wasn't a drop of rain that I could blame it on.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I don't think I'd cleaned it since the first IDPA match I shot in January, so that was my fault. That's how much I prepared for your match.
Kind of an afterthought.
Didn't clean my gun, and didn't do a whole lot of practice either. Favorite stage? I like shooting fast, so the fastest ones are my favorite. So I'd have to say the motorcycle stage was a lot of fun. That was a 4-second first string for me on 8 shots. Getting off the motorcycle, engaged 4 targets with 2 rounds each. And my first stage, really, which was over on the shotgun bay, the stage 13, where you pull the leash and the targets run downhill, coming down the track at you. Boy, that was a ton of fun. And that was my very first stage of the match, and my first procedural got it kicked off right where I crossed a port before I'd completed my reload. So,
hey, I got one there too.
Is that where yours was? So that was my.
I had the mag starting in the mag well, and I started moving across the window before I even thought about it. I thought, I never do this, so I better pay attention and reload on the right side of the window and finish it before I move. But what I should have thought is, I'll never do this right. I should just cross the window and reload on the other side, because then I can't screw that up. But hindsight's 20/20.
I'm not experienced enough with IDPA, this being my 4th match ever, so I didn't even think about it. I just said, guns dry, get moving, reload. So that didn't go so well. And then the steel, that you hit the steel and the paper comes up and continues 180, so it disappears. That was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be. I mean, we asked the SO, so what if I engage popper, and then paper? Am I going to get a cover call? Buddy. Am I going to get a cover call? He says, don't worry about it. It's so fast, you're not going to have the opportunity. And I couldn't even believe it, but it really was.
I was actually down 0 on that target.
Oh,
nice.
Crap. I'm not kidding.
Nice.
Nobody who shot the match on Saturday or Sunday was down 0.
There was a shooter on a grassy knoll that was picking up shots.
Yeah, right, I dropped 2 points on that stage. It took me 58 seconds to shoot it, but I dropped 2 points on that stage.
But, I mean, there was so many good stages. The Victory Motel, of course. I mean, the production value was very high. A lot of construction being done there, a lot of walls and doors and targets that you shoot the drop leg and the target drops down to engage. That was a ton of fun.
We had 2 DQs on that stage with the reaching for the doorknob deal. And I think that's just the way that is, but I was disappointed by the number of DQs we had. There were 5, I think, but they were all just random. A guy dropped his gun. Somebody else showed up on the stage with a loaded gun.
I heard about
that.
Yeah,
I mean, very random, but I was just disappointed that 5 people. One guy, the guy with the drop gun, at least it was on his last stage, so at least he got to shoot the whole match before he got sent home 5 minutes early.
Oh, man.
And I heard that the guy that showed up with the loaded gun, I heard it was his first stage.
Oh, I didn't know about that. Yeah, it must have been, because he showed up after lunch to start the match, and that's why he didn't. That was sort of his. He showed up on the range with his carry gun loaded and forgot to unload it, and so you're right. He probably DQ'd before he fired a shot.
Canada Bob told me the story.
Oh, that sucks.
Oh, man,
that really sucks. Yeah.
But
so, did you get anything cool off the prize table, Steve?
No, I was not called for anything. Well, I got my bag.
Okay, what was in there?
Got your goodie
I got a
bag.
contact certificate, which I traded away for $50 off some Montana Gold Bullet
Oh yeah.
certificate.
Yeah.
And because my buddy had some sucky holster, and so he immediately went in and cashed his certificate in. I think he
Right.
shot the match with that.
Yeah. Larry
So
Larry got something nice on the price table. Show us what you got, Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Well, I was the second one called, and so I picked up a gun.
Oh, is that the Lionheart? that
This
was there?
is a Lionheart LH9. Yeah. So prizes
that's
being
sort
given
of
away at random.
got
I
a
was the
picture.
second one called, and I kind of like it. And we'll do a detailed review of it on another episode.
Have you fired it?
I have not. I've had it for just a couple of days.
I shot,
that's right, because it had to get transferred to you. So.
Yeah, I shot the
Yeah,
one they had at
yeah.
the range, and it's got an unusual trigger action.
It really does, and I'll just show it real quick. I mean, it's a double action gun with a hammer. And how do you decock it? Well, you just push the hammer down.
but then
just like
show
that.
what happens when you pull the trigger.
When you start pulling the trigger, it springs back to single action again. So it's very unusual, and we'll, like I say, we'll do a more detailed review on it in another episode.
So I've never fired a para LDA trigger. Is it all similar? Does it work the same way at all?
Well, this is the weird thing. When I shot it, it's kind of disconcerting. Whereas instead of the hammer, coming back like this, like it would in double action,
And
it just
stacking.
snaps back
Right.
into single action mode, and so you almost have this sensation of like the hammer. I couldn't really tell if it was upsetting the sight picture or not, but I got the impression that this hammer snapping back can't do anything to help your sight picture.
It's a little distracting. I don't know. So I have to get used to it.
But I've never shot an LDA. I mean, when they first came out, I
never
think
have
there was a
either.
sense that it was going to be the next big thing for production. And I knew some guys who were 1911 fans who thought that would be their route to production by
Right.
shooting this 1911 style gun.
Remember that.
But then they just completely disappeared. I haven't seen one in years.
Right.
I don't know that I've ever even seen one on the range.
Yeah,
Seen a few.
not for a
They
while.
advertised the hell out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I knew a guy. I mean, the whole selling point of it was the trigger action. But the one guy that I knew who shot one had paid like $200 for a trigger job on it. And I thought, well, that seems kind of strange. But there weren't any I don't know if there ever were any aftermarket parts or any kind of anything you could drop in that would improve the trigger action. But I never shot one. I held one and squeezed the trigger a few times at a gun show when they first came out, and I thought it felt like squeezing a pin cushion. It wasn't smooth. It had this kind of crunchy sensation through most of the travel. But I thought, this could be like the first gun that was produced, and maybe they improved them over time, and I don't know.
Maybe so.
But this is kind of
So
fun.
that is
I'm just
cool.
kinda-
And so,
So how many guns have you won in your shooting career, Larry?
that would be the first. Besides that, I think the best thing I got was 500 Rainier bullets, or maybe a plastic Surefire flashlight. So,
Oh, cool.
so
Have you won any guns?
I won a gun at a Glock shoot once.
there you
Okay.
I
Yeah,
won my division or whatever, and
Nice.
there was enough in it for them to give me a gun.
that was nice of them.
go. Very good.
So,
So, go ahead and show us your plaque from the match.
Oh yeah,
Steve.
I want everybody to see the cool plaque.
SSP champion.
Man, that's a good looking plaque.
solid oak.
Show
maybe
the
even
back so
redwood.
they see it's not particle board with brown paint on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Oh, look at that. Solid wood.
Solid
That's
wood.
a nice plaque.
It even looks
Very
like a
good.
9mm bullet.
The proportions are very 9mm like.
Yeah,
Yes.
it
Yes.
has that slight taper to it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Just like the Germans would like it.
Right, exactly. Now, do you have a place on the wall already ready for that?
Are you kidding? It's still under my pillow.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of
I'm still waiting for my certificate.
I heard they were going to go in the mail yesterday, and the post office, I'm sure, is holding it
I
up.
signed up. I was told there was 2 or maybe 3 slots left when I signed up. I finally got my application in, so they weren't ready for me.
That's a warning I'll give you, Steve, about if you're going to order awards in advance, wait till the last possible moment.
Well, we're lucky there because we have 110 slots, and I think 104 of them are full.
Okay.
So you're
So
already
we're only
Well-
taking like 6 more shooters, so
We-
it can't affect the awards
We
too
had
much.
11 people change their division and classification in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, that could be a problem. I never
Yeah,
thought
so
about
we
that.
ordered. We had to eat a plaque. We were short a plaque, even though I had like extra certificates made in the divisions where one more shooter would require another certificate. In 3 other divisions, enough shooters transferred into that classification that we were short 3 certificates. So I'd say if you can wait till the last day or better, give them a piece of paper that says we'll mail you your award. Then you don't have to eat any $40 plaques like we did.
Everyone gets a self-addressed stamped envelope.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've tried before to print the certificates at the range with the shooter's name on it. You know, Joe Blow, state champion. And it just slowed things down so much. It's cool, but it just really slowed things down. So
it seems really nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So what gun did you shoot, Steve?
Glock 34.
In an SSP?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And what kind of gear, what kind of equipment do you wear? Holster and stuff?
A CompTac paddle holster and mag pouches.
Okay.
And a $20 511 stitched belt without a liner.
Uh-huh.
They're coyote and black belt they sell for $20.
Now, you wear a vest as your concealment?
Yeah, I have the last few years.
And when you're doing it, if and when you do it, do you ever do tactical reloads or do you reload with retention?
Almost always reloads with retention.
Okay. Yeah. I was just interested in how many people use the vest as a place to put the magazine that comes out of the gun. And
I always go to the belt line with the mag coming out of the gun, goes into my belt line. I've done it enough. It's fast and consistent. And
I go for my pants pocket, but I don't have a whole lot of experience doing it. It just seems natural for me to slip it in my pants front pocket. So I shot my Glock 23, and it is literally bone stock and change the sights, and that's it. So
it's a stock service pistol.
It is a stock service pistol. That's
what I like to hear.
What I carry. It's a compact Glock. So and so I was fourth SSP expert out of 12. So
see,
nice.
There you go.
The guy's a ringer.
And so like third, fourth, and fifth, we were all separated by about 3 seconds, 4 seconds, something like that. So it's pretty tight competition there. Yeah.
And we had.
Speaking of competition, it was pretty cool to see that Nils Jonasson.
No joke.
There.
Yeah, I think
he's like Mr. Hot shooter of all hot shooters
right now. Yeah. I mean, I think when he beat Robbie at the single stack nationals, that kind of I think put him on the in the spotlight.
Right.
And when I heard he was coming, I just thought, boy, I hope we have somebody that can compete against him, because we have some local master class shooters, but they're 92nd classifier masters. They're not 67th class, And so I was thinking, okay, we had 6 masters, I think, in SSP. And so
there were 6.
Yeah, and the competition it has never been better at our match, just in terms of the level at the top. I mean, I like there to be competition throughout, and within each class there should be. But at the top, we've had state championships with no masters before. And so it was nice. I think we had 8 or 9, I think, across all the divisions. So the competition was really much better than it has been, but I say has been 6 or 8 years ago. But since we started drawing 100 to 150 shooters, it's been pretty good. But we've never had kind of a national name shooter like that.
What team was there? Was that Team CompTac that sent 4 or 5?
No, it was Blade Tech.
Blade Tech.
Yeah.
Blade Tech, excuse me.
Yeah. And hopefully, like the K-Rounds guys are making it sound like, I don't know if they're going to put together a team, but they made it sound like at least the guys who work in the shop are going to be there.
That's good.
But
that's cool.
I mean, I was surprised. Bobby McGee was supposed to be there from Safariland, and they were a massive sponsor, but he backed out at the last minute. They had some other gig where, I don't know, he'd be on TV or something, so he did that instead. But
where they actually had live cameras.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Jim Scouten was going to interview him, so he had to go do that instead. But yeah, so next year, I mean, I'm hoping the word gets out. I mean, we're not trying to hide up here, but I would like to think we're going to be on the map a little bit more now that some of the top shooters have been there, and maybe word of mouth and stuff we'll get some more top shooters next year.
Yeah.
Well, I think me and Jim are planning on coming back next year.
Well, there you go. There's 2. There's the first 2.
My buddy Aaron from Portland that drove up, he's shot a local match, classifier, and then your match. And he was just like a kid in a candy store. We almost had to take his credit card away from him walking. He bought like 6 holsters.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
From A-Rounds and 4 from Blade Tech.
Yeah, we were very heavy on the holster sponsorship. I think we had 6 holster sponsors. And I'm wearing my Blade Tech shirt, and somebody goes, before you do the awards, you better take that off. And I'm like, going, okay. So I put the K-Rounds shirt on. I was going to do it like the NASCAR driver. He's got his Goodyear hat and then his sponsor hat.
Take a picture of the other. Yeah. Every sponsor gets a photo.
I think he even had a deal to get one shipped from White Dog or something before the end of the match too. So he's going to be up to like 9 holsters for the match.
Yeah.
I came out with a few myself, so
They're nice. Show off your K-Rounds holsters.
Oh yeah, I got the K-Rounds OWB paddle, and full disclosure,
Pancake.
Pancake. Sorry, not paddle, pancake. OWB pancake, and full disclosure because we're
nice guys.
Because we're nice guys and we have a TV show. We got these for free, so
It's great being a TV star. You get all kinds of stuff, free stuff.
this one is very comfortable. I wore it a little bit last night. I just received it a couple days ago. I like that a lot. And I asked him for a custom job for my Beretta for USPSA, an IPSC speed rig as they call it. So we got a drop offset for my Beretta pistol. So I'm very pleased about that.
There's a show and tell. What?
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
So I picked up a K-Rounds just belt holster.
Okay, the straight drop.
Okay.
Straight drop. I have one in a smaller belt size, but I've been looking for one just like that, and they had one, so that was awesome. And I got a little White Dog. What's the pattern? What's the 2 big layers of Kydex? Who's the big guys that make these?
Oh, I don't know.
Raven.
Raven.
Is that right? Yeah.
So I think it's kind of patterned after the Raven, but Devin kind of trimmed it. He trimmed some of the extra flashing around that seems to me like it's more of a style statement or something, because it just makes the holster bigger. So he trimmed some of that back for me.
What does the back? What does the backside look like? Where the belt loops are? Okay, yeah, he made one of those for me too. I keep telling him, I'm going to wear it. But when I started shooting revolver, I've been shooting revolver all year, and I just haven't had a chance to use it. But I was actually wearing it on one of the episodes we did at the range. They're nice holsters. I mean, the thing that I liked about it is that it just seemed to be at a natural angle, that when I swept my arm back to the position where the holster is, the bore line was perfectly aligned with the angle of the holster. I mean, it just seemed really natural. So
yeah, that's been a nice carry holster. I've enjoyed that last week. It holds the gun nice and snug, right on my love handle.
Right. Well, you must weigh all of 165 pounds. You're a monster.
No, I'm pushing 170.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I weighed 30 years ago. So, well, what else is that the end of the story? Do we have anything else to tell? Plug your match, Steve. When's the Utah State Championship?
September 28th, last Saturday of September.
But you're pretty close to full now?
Last sanctioned match before the new rule book.
Oh, the last one in the country?
Kicks in, I think so, unless somebody else has one on the same day, or they're shooting on Sunday or something.
Right, exactly. Okay, that'll be fun.
It's got to be
the swan song. So you have all kinds of moving reloads and stuff just to send out the old rule book with a bang, or what?
I'll tell you what. Our match in July, I had a stage where I made you do 4 moving reloads. It was required to do the reloads with retention on the move.
Right.
And the stage title was "While We Still Can."
There you go. That's good. Get him.
So we're getting our licks in.
Okay, good.
I don't think we have any of that at the state match, though.
Yeah.
I think there is one opportunity to pick up a moving reload if you want to.
Right.
It's not required.
Right. Can't do that. Can't require it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have, like I said, we got, I think, 6 slots open, so there's definitely some room, but not gobs of room if you're going to be in Utah at the end of September.
Okay.
Be a good time.
All right. Well, you're going to have at least one guy from Washington next year, thanks to the certificate that we handed out.
Oh, that's right, the 3-way trade there.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, Dan, our price table guy, he was polling people. Do you think you're going to shoot either Utah or Idaho next year? And so we wanted to make sure that they went to somebody who actually had a pretty good notion that they were going to go. So hopefully you'll get at least that one guy from Washington will show up.
Well, I'm going to watch that one on the prize table, and as soon as it goes, I'm going to write down that guy, and I'm going to chase him down, and I'm going to bargain with him.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to try and come home with both the Washington and the Idaho certificates, even if I got to pony cash out of my pocket for them. So.
Good. Well, I don't know with certainty where the Washington State match is going to be next year. It was in a different range last year, and then those guys we essentially can dictate almost what facilities we need. I mean, they closed down the entire range for us, but at the Puyallup range, those guys are one of the newest kind of special interest groups, so they have to contend with 4-H Girls Shooters Club and so I mean literally they have somebody and they base it on seniority. So essentially every club, every group has priority over them. So they just had a hard time getting
a lot of long range down there.
Yeah, there's a lot of rifle shooting and stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully, I'm not going to say hopefully it'll be there again next year, but if they can manage it, it might be a Puyallup next year. But otherwise, it'll be back at Renton. So make your plans.
Well, it was fun shooting in the trees, and you ordered up some 75-degree weather for us. No rain.
Hey, it poured rain on Thursday when we were setting up. We got it out of the way on Thursday, so you guys wouldn't have to deal with it.
Man, it was beautiful.
Yeah. That's probably one of the nicer. I mean, we've had clouds and a little spitting rain before in the years past, but that's probably for Saturday and Sunday the nicest shooting weather we've ever had. So you were lucky in that respect.
I brought 15 pounds of rain gear with me, so I'm pretty sure that's what
not a bad
kept
idea.
the clouds away.
Yeah, I had my raincoat in the car, so I was helping sure that it didn't rain.
Yeah,
so.
I had mine too.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've just about worn out this topic. So maybe we'll do a little after action report at the end of September, see how things went at your match.
Well, depending on how it went.
Well, exactly. We'll call you first to see if it's worth telling.
If it's an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Talk about it.
We don't want to hear about that. But so you can badmouth us on the GunDudes show next time you're on if you want to talk about
I'll be listening.
Over the top cover calls and stuff and.
That's the one thing that I really like is you guys have a real deep safety officer field, and I don't know how you do it. Maybe it's the population. Maybe Salt Lake's just not big enough, but man, you guys got a lot of people that understand the rules and have actually read them. Where we have 8.
Yeah.
You have 30.
We try to. I mean, the thing that I find is you can read the rule book, but that doesn't mean you care. And it may seem kind of silly, but I think our guys, we lead by example. We expect them to know the rules. If you make a bad call, it doesn't go unnoticed. We definitely do not have any kind of a good old boy kind of a thing going here. We have the safety officers are expected to go by the rules and ring up their buddies just like they ring up people from Utah, and So I think that's why they're good, is because we insist that they care about what they're doing.
And so are you spending time watching the different squads shoot, or are you just on a squad shooting? How do you get that? How do you get the exposure to see what they're doing and help them?
We have through our forum. We have a club forum, and after every match, we start a thread. We have a separate subforum just for safety officers. The only certified safety officers have access, and we'll start a thread, and everybody essentially critiques the match, the stages, how it was arranged, and then any detail problems that they had. And so if somebody says, this was a SO trap on stage 3 where the shooter went, downrange, then whirled around and came back uprange or something like that. And so it's kind of a learning experience for everybody, because everybody sees the thread. Everybody has an opportunity to post, I thought that this should have been done this way. And then you have an opportunity to say, well, if we'd been paying attention when the stage was designed, we would have done it that way. I mean, it's like a give and take. You get to critique things. People will have a question about a rules interpretation. They'll get it answered. And I think that helps a lot, just because everybody is exposed to it after the match. They have to kind of review it. And they don't have to, but I think we get good participation. People are paying attention and looking to see how things could have gone better, or what little. Because our process before the match is all the stages are supposed to be sent in some kind of printed form, emailed, scanned, or whatever, to the match director, the range master, and maybe an assistant match director. So before the stage is ever set up, it should have already had 4 sets of eyes on it, looking for rules compliance, and what bay is this going to be in? We've got a low berm there, you better not put a drop turner on the left side, that kind of stuff. And then after it's set up, the range master sees, and the match director sees how it's set up. And then we have an SO walkthrough where all the safety officers that are working the match, which might be 15 or 20 of them, they go stage by stage, have the procedure read to them, and if we catch anything at that point, we have a chance to correct it. But then also, rules interpretations will come up. Somebody will see how something is set up. Well, do they have to shoot this one first or that one? And so we get a little bit of a learning moment there just during the walkthroughs. And I think they see how serious we are about it. I mean, the procedures were very specific. We don't have a procedure that says, hey, there's 4 targets out there, shoot them. Go find them and shoot them. We expect people to shoot things in a certain sequence, both for match equity, but also just because we like to be able to anticipate where the shooter's going to go and what they're going to do. And I get the impression that our stage procedures are very specific, and that makes it a lot easier for us to determine whether somebody's violated them or not.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it. We care. We're a caring group.
And our USPSA crowd's the same attitude, where we've got a lot of trained range officers that care about the rules, and we do the same thing with stage walkthroughs and all that. So there's a little bit of crossover between USPSA and IDPA, but not a whole lot.
Not a whole lot. No. There's probably 10 guys in this area that shoot both games. So
yeah, we get a little bit too, but not a tremendous amount.
Yeah. I don't know if that's strange or not, but I think it's it is what it is. That's what I say. So
hey, that's profound.
Yeah, I know. I just made that up. I've been working on that. I've been working on it, kind of developing like a signature saying, and I thought I'd try it out tonight.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
No, you're supposed to say, at any rate. What's the new one that he's doing? He's got off of it at any rate, and he's picked up a new phrase. Steve has. And I got to listen to a back episode or something, but he's got on a new one.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
How about that?
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this one up.
It was good to meet you, Steve, on the range, and
good luck with your match in September.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I wish I could be there. That'd be cool, but I could be in Alaska that week. So.
Yeah, Alaska.
Well,
there you go.
Kind of far away.
I think you helped us out quite a bit by showing us some good administration and setup and good operation.
Good. Well, I hope it works out well for you, and maybe we'll have you on with another little after-action report when it's done.
Right.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Cool. Good night. Talk to you later.
See ya. All right, so thanks to Steve Koski for joining us on this episode. It was fun meeting him.
Yeah, and check out, he is an occasional guest on the GunDudes Podcast, so check him out there.
So he's super famous over there.
Yeah, in Utah. I mean, he's big time in Utah.
Right. So we've got a trivia question that needs to be answered if you're still tuned in. This was from episode 131, and the question was a USPSA question. What is the only circumstance that a shooter can be given the option to reshoot a stage? Most of the time it's either deemed you have to reshoot it or you cannot. It's
black and white, no option.
Very black and white, but there's one circumstance where the shooter has the option, and that is in the case of RO interference. Let me see, do I have the rule? 864 is the rule, and so if the RO bumps you or gets in your way, the rule says that the shooter, before having the chance of seeing his time or his score for the stage, can determine if he thought it affected his run or not, and then take the option for a reshoot or not. So the winner from that, out of all the right answers, Derek Fleetwood. Thanks for playing. And we've got, I think, a Ben Steger book for you. So
there you go.
There you go, Derek. Thanks for playing. So again, thanks for tuning in this week for our post-match IDPA state match breakdown. You can find us at our website at powerfactorshow.com and send any future trivia question answers and questions, comments to our email at powerfactorshow@gmail.com, and check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/PowerFactorShow. There you go. Thanks a lot.
See ya.